So the brand new MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch with those new M1 Pro and M1 Max chipsets inside it. However, how powerful is those graphics cards or those GPUs inside those chipsets compared to the likes of, say, the RTX 3050 and the 3050 Ti and let's say even the 3080? Well, let's see today how powerful they are with demoing a couple of games. Hi guys, it's Matt here. So that's right, today I have a MacBook Pro 14-inch with an M1 Pro chipset inside it. It's the one with the 10-core chipset, so there's the 2 efficiency cores and 8 performance core, and it's also got a 16-core GPU, and there's also 16 gigabytes of RAM inside this machine. And I want to do a comparison of native macOS games. So these are games that have been built from the ground up to work with the kind of M1 type of chipsets, or they work with using Rosetta 2 with kind of converting x86 kind of games into working with M1 chipsets. And that's what Rosetta 2 is all about, is converting apps and games to do that. What this video is not going to be doing is comparing kind of games like GTA 5 or let's say Red Dead Redemption 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn running on crossover or parallels. And I will be making a video for that though in the future. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. But what I will be doing today is comparing about 3 games compared to the likes of, say, a game on a Windows machine what's with a RTX 3050 or a 3050 Ti or even a 3080 inside it, and comparing it to the chipset what's inside this MacBook Pro. Well, without further ado, let's begin. So first of all guys, what I quickly want to show you is about this Mac that I'm on. So like I said, this is the 14-inch MacBook Pro with an M1 Pro inside it. Now this is the standard M1 Pro chipset. So this is the one with the 10 cores. So this is the 2 efficiency cores and 8 performance cores. And for GPU wise, it has the 16 core GPU. It's not the 14, and the CPU is not the 8 core. It's not the lower spec one. It is the standard cores that you get for an M1 Pro chipset. And so like I said, there's 16 gigabytes of RAM as well inside this. So this is what we're going to demo around with. So the games I'm going to show you today, I'm going to do a quick demo of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and I'm also going to quickly show you Rocket League as well. And just to quickly show you guys here, what I'm also going to do is go into my preferences here. What I've done is for in-game, I have turned on the frames per second counter, and it'll be in the top left hand corner, and it's also got the high contrast color, so I think it'll come up like in green or something for when I'm actually demoing the games. So that is that. So let's close that down. The other game I will be demoing today will be the one and only and controversial Fortnite on a Mac. So you might have heard a lot of things in the news about Epic Games versus Apple, but you can still play Fortnite at the moment on a M1 or M1 Pro or M1 Max MacBook Pro, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. But this is a really good demo again to show you guys that like things like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 is just not compatible, at least not compatible natively on an M1, an M1 Pro, and M1 Max chipset. You can do it with crossover and the likes of, say, parallels, for example, and I will be doing a video in the future to show that. But today, like I've said already, I just want to demo to you games that are natively being built to work on a Mac, whether this has been completely converted onto the kind of ARM64 chipset, what like the M1 chipsets run on, or it's either using the Rosetta 2 to convert an x86 game into an ARM64 kind of game, as it were, to make it work correctly. And that's what I'll be demoing. So let's go back to Steam, and the first one I'm going to try out is going to be Counter-Strike. So let's give that a go first of all. So we are inside the game here, and what I want to do is just quickly go to settings and just to show you here the resolution I've set this at. So I've set it at 1920 by 1200, and the main reason is this is the closest I can get basically to a 1080p sort of resolution on this MacBook Pro for this demo. Also, all the textures and everything like that have also been set to auto high as well. But let's get started with loading up a game. Now, I'm going to admit I'm not very good at this game, especially I'm using my touchpad as well, but you can see the frames per second in the top left hand corner here. There's somebody else to get rid of. but you can see it's sort of lowering kind of round about sort of 60 frames per second on this resolution, and also on those sort of auto high sort of settings. And I'm just going to move around and see if we can find somebody else just to see if we can see what happens with the frames per second here. There's someone there. It sort of does it, like I said, it's sort of high 60 frames per second there. There's somebody else here. Oh, I think he might get me actually. Let's just try again quickly. Oh, like I said, oh yeah, there we go. See, terrible. Like I said, with a touchpad, it's not the best, but you can see. Let's now do a comparison now to a 3080, and as you can see straight away, the frames per second are far higher. This actually isn't my own computer myself. This is some borrowed footage, but you can see the difference here. We are way up higher in the frames per second. Let's move on then to the next game. So just quickly before we move on to the next game, this channel is doing a giveaway, and it is for this. It is for an iPhone 13 Pro Max in Sierra Blue, and it's a 128GB model. And I'm going to be giving this away to one lucky subscriber when we get over 300,000 subscribers, and it's not that far away. And all I want to know in the comments below is what Apple gear or what technology gear are you planning to buy within the next year or so. Write it down in the comments below, and when we get over 300,000 subscribers, and only when we get over 300,000 subscribers, I'll be announcing who the winner is. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because you'll want to get that notification of that video when we get over that amount. But I just quickly also want to say that there is a couple of scammers and spammers out there who say that you've won a prize and to WhatsApp them. This is not me at all, and ignore these messages completely. Like I said, I will only be announcing who the winner is via a video when we get over 300,000 subscribers, and it won't be any time before. So do ignore or report those scammers. Well guys, let's get back to the MacBook Pro and demoing a few more games. So the next game is actually Rocket League, and as you can see, everything here is on high quality. I've had to change the resolution again. This time let's change it to 1400 by 440 by 900. That's the resolution that we have here. So I'm going to play it on this resolution this time, and also I've unlocked also the frames per second to be on maximum. So let's see how this game performs. So as we can see here, we're getting some good frames per second. We're in the higher range, we're above sort of 60 frames per second, and we're getting some good ones there. We get a crossover into the odd 100 as well. Oh, just scored there. But you can see that probably actually sort of the replay here, that will be a much more higher frames per second, as you can see, because we're more wider out. But here we go, back into the main game. The actual game itself, yeah, the frames per second definitely are in the higher sort of range. We're getting kind of 80 sort of number. What have I just scored? I thought I scored the game then, but I didn't. But yeah, you're getting a high sort of number there, and yeah, this is quite good. Let's now do another comparison to a 3080, and you can see straight away the average sort of frames per second. I'm in the high 500s here, and actually kind of the real time is in the 600s here for some of it as well. So it's absolutely crazy the amount of frames per second you can get with a Windows machine and actually running this game instead. So the final game to try out is Fortnite. So with Fortnite, I put everything onto sort of an epic mode, and also I'm going to change my frames per second to unlimited, as you can see here, and the resolution is at 1920 by 1200. So yeah, this should be pretty cool with these epic settings to give us a go. So the frame per seconds are on the middle right next to the map there, and as you can see, it's only kind of high 40s here. There's someone here who's getting into the truck, I think. We'll see if we can get them, but you can see it's not doing the best on epic mode. I know we could probably get much better on a dedicated graphics, but I'm going to get run over here and killed, definitely. But you can see just a demo, there we go, 68, that was terrible. But yeah, it's not being the best sort of frames per second, but at least you get a good sight of what an M1 Pro can do. But with a 3050 Ti, you can see here in this epic mode, you're going to get about 60-70 frames per second instead, compared to the sort of high 40s we were getting. So we can see that the M1 Pro inside this MacBook Pro 14-inch is quite a beast, and it is quite powerful. And one thing we've also got to remember is that this machine was never designed to be a gaming machine. So in the sense of what you'd buy like a 3080 chipset for, and compare that up with another kind of like an AMD Ryzen or an Intel chipset, it's not designed for that reason. This is designed for creators only, and that's that's what Apple had intended. Now, I know at the Apple event, at the Unleashed event, they did compare it to other kind of Windows machines out there, but I believe they were comparing it from a creator's point of view. They were not comparing it from a gaming point of view. Yes, there are games, and as you can see here in the selections of games I showed you, they're not the best games in the world. And I'm sure, like you said, you want to see GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, and the list can go on. And none of those games are compatible with a MacBook Pro natively. We're going to have to use Rosetta with parallels and crossover. We can't actually get it to work natively to work on this machine straight up through macOS. So yeah, we're going to have to put something in the middle for that. But as you can see, the frames per second were reasonably okay on this machine. But as you can definitely tell, something like the 3050 or even the 3080 is more designed for a more gaming experience. But it was a good comparison just to see what this machine's for. Personally, if you're going to buy this as a gaming machine, I wouldn't bother personally. Just don't do it. Buy yourself a gaming laptop. It will be far more worth it to do it that way if you want to do that. However, if you're going to be a creator, want to play the odd game on the side, definitely this machine is probably more worth it for you. Well guys, it's also time to wrap up this video, so if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. And also at the same time as well, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, please also hit subscribe, followed by that notification bell. Until next time guys, I will see you really soon. Bye bye.